Hello, racing fans, and welcome to another edition of the Handicappers Corner, brought to you by the Derby Bar and Grill. I'm Mike Heads, along with Drew Forster. We're going to go through the Holiday Monday races at Hastings Racecourse. Got 9 of them. 2 stakes races, the Derby Bar and Grill Express for the boys and girls. There's 2 different stakes races. Should be a lot of fun.
Named after this fine establishment right here.
Lovely establishment.
They're 2 really good races, 2 very contentious races. Not giant fields necessarily, but tough races to... Herbie D, obviously the standout, the boys, and the girls' end is pretty wide open, though. It's a really contentious field. And, of course, Labor Day at the track's always a big day. Be a big crowd, expecting, I'd say, sunshine.
Yeah, it's going to be gorgeous. Final day of the P&E. If you're not willing to brave the elements at Hastings or the P&E, you know where to come, right here to the Derby Bar and Grill to watch all 9 races.
Watch the Derby Bar and Grill
Expresses.
Stakes, yes.
All right, we'll get on to the opener on the Monday program. Got a field of 8 scheduled to go postward, maiden 5 granders, going 6.5 furlongs. I've gone to the 3 Andrell, no real secrets here. Looks like a pretty chalky way to start off the afternoon. A good runner-up effort to Fat Cat Diplomat last time, and did defeat the 2 Jack Monroe. Those 2 weren't all that far apart. It looked like they're the 2 horses in here. I put the 4-horse Mr. Sandman in for third, but I think it's the 2-3 or 3-2. But I did go to the 3-horse Andrell. Amadeo Perez rides 3-2-4 for me in the opener.
I went with Andrell on top. I agree with you. I think he's the best horse. I have He Who Laughs Last in the second spot. One that Barb Heads had was with Tim McKenna in Golden Gate. The ones that have come up from Tim have always, all year long, they've been running very well. Yeah. This horse has not exactly been setting the world on fire down there for maiden 8, but I know those maiden 8s at Golden Gate can come up pretty tough.
Yeah, they can.
So I think he fits in here. He can surprise. He's definitely not out of it. Gets a red-hot Reyes in the irons for Barb. And I have Jack Monroe, the horse you mentioned, in third spot. Just got beat late to the corner last time. Definitely live in here, too. On to the second. A 3-year-olds and up, 7,500, non-2, BC, non-3. Another one, probably no secret. I've gone to the 7 here, Vimana. First start here of the year last time. Probably needed the race. Just got beat a length by Dictatorship. Hot connections of Hamill, McPherson. He looks very good. The second spot, I put McPherson's other horse, Minstrel's Time, who ran long last time, ran really good in not a really easy non-2 4,000. Stormy Bob came back, won for 15 against 3-year-olds, albeit. But he's an okay horse, so that was a big race out of him. And the third spot, I put Eustonia, a horse that's done a little wrong in his short career. 2 wins, a second, and a third out of 4 starts, so he fits.
Yeah, I agree with the 7-horse Vimana. I mean, as long as if the race didn't exhaust him, because it was his first run since November. Had to run on the pace, 22, 45, and got a little tired late. It did lose the battle with Dictatorship, but as long as he doesn't take a step backwards from that race, then I really think Vimana will be very tough. Not a lot of speed in here. I think he's going to get to control things. Should be a little easier pace scenario for Vimana. I put the 3 Eustonia in the second spot. 4 runs this year. We get to miss the board. You got to love horses like that come to play all the time. But certainly if Vimana doesn't win, this could be the one that grabs all the dough, the 3-horse Eustonia. And I put the 8-horse Prophet Star in for third. Kind of had a tough trip last time. Was 5 wide at the end of the race. He was chasing the speed, and maybe the outside's going to be a better draw for him. Gets Amadeo Perez. Might be the long shot of the crew that might maybe upset the apple cart. Maybe that'll be the one that will get you some money and maybe liven up the early pick 4 payoff. But I did go to Vimana, though. I went 7, 3, and 8 in the second. On to the third race. Got some $5,000 non-winners of the year. Going to go 6.5 furlongs. Got 8 of them. And I've gone to the 4-horse Vernon Cat. I'm going to take a shot on him today. Just a horse that got caught up in some very fast fractions throughout much of the year. He never seems to get a pace break. He was 21-3 last time, and there was 3 of them out there. Star still manages to hang on for third. That's showing quite a bit of he's game. He's a nice horse, and he's in good form right now. So I'm going to stick with Vernon Cat. Hopefully they leave him alone on the head end. Put the 2-horse Charter Hill in for second. Here's a horse that, if you draw a line through his mount of 16th races, his 6.5 furlong form's extremely good. He's had 2 wins and a narrow loss, running third in his last 3 sprints. So definitely this is his better distance, Charter Hill, so I like him. I put the 3-horse Swongs, reunited with Richard Hamill. He was, actually Fernando's won on him, Richard's won on him twice, but here's a horse that, with the right kind of trip, can threaten in here. And so I'm going to put him in the third spot. I'm going to put the Craig McPherson runner. Seems to have 2 in every race, Craig. But I'm going to try Gary Sates' runner, Vernon Cat. I'm going to go 4, 2, and 3.
I put Swongs on top.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, tough horse. He's got a nice kind of stock and pound style. Should fit pretty good in here. Hamill and McPherson they're very deadly together. Hamill takes over. He knows the horse well. The race that he won on him earlier this year when he beat Dictatorship was a very game race. Hamill gets him a similar kind of race. I see him win it. I put Whistler Gold. This is a horse that's been on his way down the ladder for a while. I think the non-winners of the year category, even though this one came up fairly tough, I think he fits his category pretty nice. And he's had a couple of excuses his last few races. I think he's coming into this race very nicely for Forrester and Birmingham, so I have him in the second spot. And in the third spot, I put a horse that keeps running tough in these races, never seems to get any respect, is Monster in the Closet. Always seems to be right in there, second, third, picking up the pieces against tough horses like Arkhill, One Zone Accord, those types. So he's not out of it with the bug boy, Alex Marti, in the irons. I went 3, 1, and 5. On to the fourth, the first
stake on the card.
The first stake on the card, the boys' end of the Derby Bar and Grill Express Stakes. And I've gone to the 2, Herbie D, no secret here. This horse has been nothing short of phenomenal in his starts, his 2 starts this year at Hastings. Just a hair off the track record both times. A tough horse to beat, he says, blistering fractions.
Does it easy, though.
And then just draws off after that. So it's not like you can send a pace horse to go with him because a nice horse like Time Machine has tried to go with him and he's just chewed him up and spit him out. So no secret, probably the best bet on the card. I have Herbie D in the top spot. I went with Stormy Canuck out of the Mark Cloutier barn in the second spot. I like the fact that there's a couple here, like Dollar Waiting on a Dime, looks like he probably wants to try and go with Herbie D. Time Machine's been trying to go with him. I took the 2 horses that are likely to maybe stay off that pace and take a run and pass Time Machine and Dollar Waiting on a Dime. I have Stormy Canuck in second and Stolen Notice. Horse just ran a big race to beat Golden Triumph and Ruffy Joe in his last start. Mostly Golden Triumph, who's a nice horse of the Condominios barn, ran a really game race to run him down and beat him in his last start. I have him in third, so it's 2, 4, 3 for me.
Yeah, it's a pretty basic race. The 2 horse Herbie D is your horse to beat. I don't think he can get beat. He doesn't need the lead, even if someone wants to go crazy fractions. He can sit off of it like he showed last time and still produce a huge run. He won geared down in 1:15 and 2 last time, and they're only going 6 furlongs too. This is just a straight 6 furlong race, and Herbie D can do anything. Though he's a 2 to 5 favorite that's likely going to win for fun. And I put the 3 horse Stolen Otis in for second. I just flip-flopped yours. I like Stolen Otis. Pretty impressed with his win over Golden Triumph and Ruffy Joe. I thought that was a pretty good race. But Stormy Canuck goes back in blinkers for third. But definitely Herbie D. Solid single in your pick 4s and whatever wagers you want to do. I went 2, 3, and 4. In the Derby Bar and Grill Express. On to the 5th race, maiden 10 grounders. I got some 2-year-olds here going 6 panels. I've gone to the 6 horse Uniqua. Good 3rd place run behind Allison's Tiger 2 and Fox Be Gone last time. Had to endure some salty fractions, 22, 45, and 3, battling all the way. Got a little tired late. Fox Be Gone came and got him for second, but I don't think the fraction is going to be anywhere near that quick. Uniqua, I think, definitely gets easier pace and should last the entire way. I did put Fox Be Gone in the second spot, and I put the 4 horse Inca Roca in the third spot, a son of Cause to Believe. He's a promising young stallion in the province, and out of a good Catahoula County mare. Workouts are all right. Craig McPherson's done very well with his firsters this year, and gets Fernando Perez, so it's a good combination there. Wouldn't be surprised to see this one pretty live in its debut, but I'm going to go to the 6 Uniqua. I went 6, 2, and 4. I'm
going with the horse you just mentioned, Inca Roca. Like you said, I like the connections, Cause to Believe, Catahoula County Mare, everything you just said, plus the fact that none of these horses have wowed me. They've been running basically, most of them running at the bottom 2-year-old level most of the year. Nothing's really, nothing's looked like, wow, that horse is going to win next time. So I went with the first time starter, Inca Roca. Fox Be Gone, the horse you mentioned, second, Dallas' Tiger 2. Last one, I put him in second. And the other one you mentioned, Uniqua, your top pick, I put in third for Steve Henson. So 4, 2, and 6 for me. On to the 6th race. Really nice race. 3-year-old fillies for $15,000. Pretty tough race. It looks like a fair bit of speed in here. I went to the 2 Yang out of the Phil Hall barn. Alex Marty has fit this horse like a glove all year. barely ever misses a check.
Right.
Had a nice win at $25,000 level, then come right back second at $25,000 level, drops in for 15, looks extremely live here. I got Yang on top. Another one that won for 12.5 for fun was a recent claim for Jim Brown. Went up to 25 in that same race as Yang, and couldn't quite keep up with those fillies.
Yep.
Drops back down for 15 is What a Score, the 3-horse. Definitely very live. As I always say, live connections of Reyes and Jim Brown. Jim was one of the first guys, started kind of putting Reyes on live horses here, and he's been rewarded. Yeah. They've done really well together. Have him in second. And third spot, Remembering When, out of the Taylor Anderson barn. Had her in maiden special weights most of the year. Dropped her maiden 20 last time, made no mistake. Amadeo Perez was on her. Amadeo sticks with her. Logical place to go is 3-0 fillies for 15. Yep. She fits. 2, 3, 6 for me. Yeah,
I like your 2-horse Yang. I think there's going to be a lively pace in here. I think What a Score is going to go.
Yeah.
Definitely the 7-horse Victoria's Spirit's going to go. Catalee on the far outside. There should be a good enough pace to help the 2-horse Yang. Not that she needs to help, but I think with quite a bit of pace pressure on up front, I think Yang will be the one coming from out of it. I did put the 7, though, Victoria's Spirit in for second. I was pretty impressed with the way she ran third behind Undo It and Danny's Chant. Both pretty nice fillies. Danny's Chant's an older mare, and Undo It is a 3-year-old. But still, that was a good run despite going 21-3, battling through 45-1. Those are some salty fractions, but I think it'll set her up for a good effort on Monday. And I put the 3-horse What a Score, another, as you mentioned, for the same reasons. Good connections. Shortens back to 6.5. Tried him on the 16th last time. She's a sprinter.
Not her gig, yeah.
Yeah, she's better suited to this distance. And if she can avoid a pace duel with the 7 Victoria's Spirit, maybe she can win it. But those are the 2 horses, I think, the 3 and 7. They leave each other alone. Those are the only 2 that maybe can beat the 2-horse Yang. But I did go to Yang to win it. I went 2, 7, and 3. On to the 7th race. $7,500 condition claimers, known as a 3 lifetime. Going to go 6.5 furlongs. I've gone to the 3-horse Danny's Chant. We just finished talking about her. 4-year-old filly. Just had to go a little too quick last time. And, perhaps the August 5th race exhausted her a little more than I thought. I was a little worried about her coming back in 17 days after such a tough race in which she battled the entire way, lost to a closer and Undo It, and she ran tough, then came back, got easier fractions, but didn't have that same kind of blah.
Little polish.
She was kind of a little flat, but down here for $7,500, I think she's going to be very dangerous. I like Danny's Chant to win it. Put the 8-horse Victoria B in for second. Amadeo Perez sticks with him, with her, pardon me. Nice win at the non-2-4 level, but I just like the way she did it. She was wide throughout and ran on like a good filly. The runner-up horse, Waif, came back to win very easily in her next start at the non-2-4 level. But I like what I've seen from Victoria B in her brief career. She's only run 5 times. But I like the draw, too. I don't mind the outside. She's worked well, 46, 47, her last 2 half miles. She's going well. So I like her in the second spot. And I put the 2 Tiger Slowly. Amadeo leaves her for the 8-horse, but gets Richard Hamill, who's won on this filly last year. So definitely keep her in the mix as well. I went 3, 8, and 2.
I agree with the 3. I have the 3 on top. Danny's Chant. Like you mentioned, she's been rock solid for the 17.5 level. Now, in for 75, she looks like she's going to be a handful. In the second spot, I put an interesting horse, Wine Thief, out of the Terry Clyde barn, Mike Anderson barn. Only ran a couple of times here last year. Took her down to Phoenix. She won a maiden special weight down there. They thought enough of her, actually, in the end. Just got beat a nose in an allowance race, and then they ran her in the Arizona Juvenile. Ran third there, so, behind Racing for Gold. Very nice filly, one of our top 3-year-old fillies here at Hastings this year that Phil Hall has. So she hasn't run a long time. She hasn't run since December. So it's definitely a knock against her. She shows up for a tag, but I still think there's enough talent there. She can make some noise in here. Marlo Dunn's been heating up of late, so the connections don't scare me at all there. In the third spot, I put Tiger Slowly, horse you just mentioned with Hamill. Amadeo Perez does not pick the wrong one very often. I'm thinking maybe he did this time. I went Tiger Slowly. I went 3, 4, and 2 in the 7th. On to the 8th, the Fillies of Mare's End of the Derby Bar and Grill Express Steak. This one took me a while. It's a really good race. I kept changing. I ended up on Overvalued because basically she's won a stake here sprinting this year. And for me, that gives her the nod. She's been, she's run 5 times this year. A win, 2 seconds, a third. She's always right there. and she's deadly sprinting. I think this race, she looks like she fits in here pretty nicely. The second spot, I put Burning Britches out of the Greg Tracy barn. Another one, if you throw out her long race, she's right there, right? She just got beat by a neck and overvalued that stake, that overvalued that sprint stake that she won.
I picked her that day.
Yeah, and that's right, you did.
Tough beat.
And then she come back going long, not her game. Then they ran her short in that optional 40, and she made no mistake against Caston and Dance for them. And the third spot, Tierra del Fuego. A mare lightly raced this year. She's kind of been a step behind all year. She didn't get out of the box with the mares, so then she had to go longer, quicker than she wanted, and she's kind of been behind the 8 ball. But now she's got enough racing into her. Going into a sprint stake, I think she's very live. Amadeo Perez sticks with. I have her in third spot, 1, 3, and 7.
Yeah, I've gone to the same 3 horses, but I'm going to take the 7-horse Tierra del Fuego on top. Yeah. I think her, like watching her races year in, year out, I just think she's a better 6.5 or 6 furlong filly than a distance horse. She just won some distance races as a 3-year-old because she was that much good. The best.
Yeah.
And she was never finishing with authority. She was always just finding the line. Yeah. And kind of the same this year. I don't know. I just think she's a better sprinter. She's got a really good turn of foot. She's very electrifying her move. I think she's going to get a great pace to run at in here. I see Overvalued looking for position. I see Burning Britches looking for position. I see My Bailout, Cry, and Claire's Measy setting a solid pace. There's going to be, I think, some fireworks up front. And with the race being 6 furlongs, I know the inside horses won't want to give up position. It's a short run to the turn.
Yeah.
It's not about 6 furlongs. This is the 6 furlong start, which is right in front of the stands, and it's, you got to use your horse and keep position.
And these guys generally aren't as scared to go quicker because knowing it's 6 furlongs, so it could be pretty hot up front.
And I think Tierra del Fuego will capitalize on the fact that there's going to be a lively pace. Yeah. Number 1, I think she's a better sprinter. Number 2, I just think she's going to get a great pace scenario. Yeah. And the odds are going to be good probably as well. Amadeo does ride her, as you mentioned. I put the 1 Overvalued, probably the best filly in the race. I mean, she's the most talented. Tactically, she may be at a bit of a disadvantage from the inside. Especially a little concerned that she was scratched too in Edmonton. She was over there to run in the Edmonton Distaff, but was scratched, and a little concern there that something a little misfire. And you don't like to see hiccups in training when you're in stakes company. So maybe vulnerable today. Yeah. I'm going to try and beat her just on that premise. And I put the 3-horse Burning Britches. As you mentioned, how can you falter? She's been great sprinting. Her only blemish this year was going long. She's a solid sprinter.
Not her game.
Pedro knows her well. He's back aboard. I went 7, 1, and 3. On to the 9th and final. We got some $15,000 older runners going the mile of 16th. Big field. They all want to take on this Bear Rock and Roll. Yeah. And sometimes you look at races, 15,000 long. Oh, no one's going to run against Bear Rock and Roll. I think it's 11.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a full gate. They think maybe his streak's going to end, but I like him. Bear Rock and Roll's got to be salty in here. He went 46, 111, keeps going. Beat a nice horse in Ishkar who opted not to run back for 15,000. And Yvette's Pride, another Sharpie. This race hasn't come up overly tough. I love Bear Rock and Roll in here. I put the 3-horse Queechy in for second. I think if anyone does beat Bear Rock and Roll, if he gets caught up in some sort of a hot pace, doesn't get a great trip in this big field, then maybe Queechy, who's talented enough, I think, to defeat a lot of these. Went 143 and change earlier this year in late June. So definitely there's some talent here with Queechy. And Fernando Perez will be aboard. And I put the 6-horse Silly Fella on the class drop in for third. Here's a horse that can win at this level at any time. But he's an interesting newcomer to the race, to the division, which brings more talent. And it's going to make things tougher for Bear Rock and Roll, but it's still like the Bear in here. I went 7, 3, and 6.
I agree with you, the top pick. Well, I have the same horses. I put Bear Rock and Roll on top. Just as you mentioned, he's definitely the now horse. He's rolling. He's going to be tough to beat. I put Silly Fella in the second spot. Him and Queechy, I couldn't really decide between. It's just too big a drop. He got beat 8 lengths last time, but that was to Herbie D. A horse we mentioned is like the best sprinter on the grounds right now. 3 Wood, Stolen Notice, the tough horses, and Stolen Notice only beat him by about a length or so. Nice. He fits at this level. And I put Queechy, as you mentioned, Greg Tracy's horse in for third. Fernando Perez takes over. He's a logical horse.
It's a horse that if the pace scenario, if he gets some sort of break with the pace, maybe the 6 and 7,
he's going to be running late.
Into a tussle.
And if they're coming back,
here's the best off the pace runner, Queechy, and he showed it.
He's
coming back from Manitoba, but still, he's a claimed horse, so he can only run at stakes races when he leaves here, so he has to come back to Hastings.
But he'll be rolling late if they're coming back to him at all. He's he's the horse to catch him.
Well, there's our analysis for the 9-race program at Hastings on the holiday Monday, September the 3rd. Should be a lot of fun. Up next on screen will be a quick recap of those selections. Here we go. Here come my picks. Back in race number 1, I went to the 3-horse Andrell. I went 3, 2, and 4. In the second race, I went to the 7 Vimana, 7, 3, and 8. In the third race, a bit of an outsider, the 4-horse Vernon Cat. I'm going to try him today. I went 4, 2, and 3. In the fourth race, I went to the 2, Herbie D. Definitely an odds-on choice. It's going to be tough to beat. I went 2, 3, and 4. The fifth race, I went to the 6, Uniqua. I went 6, 2, and 4. In the sixth race, I went to the 2-horse Yang, 2, 7, and 3. In race number 7, I went to the class-dropping number 3, Danny's Chant. I went 3, 8, and 2. In the 8th race, I went to the 7, Tierra del Fuego, hoping the distance change is going to bring out a better placing in her. I went 7, 1, and 3. And in the 9th and final, I went to the 7-horse, the Streaking Bear Rock and Roll. I went 7, 3, and 6.
And on to my picks, there we go. The first race, I agree. I went with the 3, Andrell, over the 8 and 2. The second race, I went with the 7, Vimana, over the 2 and 3. In the third race, I went with number 3, Swangs, over the 1 and the 5. In the fourth race, your best bet of the day, number 2, Herbie D, on top of 4 and 3. In the fifth race, I went with the first-time starter, the 4, Inca Roca, over the 2 and 6. In the sixth race, I went with the 2, Yang, over the 3 and 6. In the seventh race, I went with the 3, Danny's Chant, over the 4 and the 2. In the eighth race, I went with the 1, Overvalued, over the 3 and 7. And in the nightcap, I agree with Mike on the 7, Bear Rock and Roll, over the 6 and the 3.
All right, thanks everyone for tuning in to this edition of Handicappers Corner, the special Labor Day, Holiday Monday program. We do have 9 races on tap, 1:50 start. Please do come on out early. It's lots of simulcasting, great simulcasting going on that day as well.
Holiday in the States as well, yeah. So everybody's running
as well. You got Saratoga, Del Mar. You got all sorts of goodies in simulcast land. So come on out, beat the crowd because it's going to be pretty busy on the final day of the P&E. So come on out early. But 9 races on tap Monday. Our next live card after the Monday will be next Saturday and Sunday. We go to the 2-day-a-week programs. We do have the Saturday and Sunday, September the 8th.
But what a two days it is.
Whoa. We got futurities for 2-year-olds. We got Oaks for 3-year-old fillies, and we've got a
older
British
boys, older girls
Colombian
stakes, and the 3-year-old. Yeah, of course, the Derby.
The Derby. There's every division will be represented next weekend. So it's kind of a championship type weekend. Really will decide a lot of who gets the hardware at the end of the year, but a lot of money on the line as
Mario's riding both days. He's riding both days for this. One day, I think this Sunday is Bobblehead, Mario Bobblehead Day, So great weekend of racing.
So once again, don't forget, get on out to Hastings next weekend. Once again, we go back to the Saturday and Sunday.
150 posts.
150 posts in just 2 days a week through the month of September. Well, on behalf of Drew, I've been Mike. Thanks for tuning in. I look forward to seeing everyone next time here on Handicappers Corner from the Derby Bar and Grill.
Chaz 5 to 9 to make it F10. He wins by a half. According to this here in the telegram. F10. I got the horse. Right.